Wings Aviation is an organization whose sole purpose is to inspire and equip the next generation of aviators. We achieve this by offering educational aviation seminars and tours to high school students. Our media channel, we provide our audience with relevant information on aviation filled through panel discussions, interviews with aviation professionals. We offer high school students the Junior Aviator course to broaden their understanding of aviation as well as increase their chances of getting into top aviation schools. We also offer Aviation Refresher and Advanced course on aviation topics. All our courses are carefully designed by aviation experts with international aviation qualifications in a wide range of aviation disciplines. The courses are designed to equip aviators with modern and relevant skills applicable in today's aviation world. Inspire, equip, empower, Flight Wings Aviation.
Hi everyone, a pleasant good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. I know different time zones exist. And hello everyone, greetings. My name is Isaac Yami and welcome to the Big Sky, where we get to explore the unlimited possibilities of aviation. And today we're back again on a Tuesday. Sometimes it's on a Wednesday, but same energy, same vibe, and same time. So I am very happy to have you today. And today, welcome to episode 12. And like always, I always have a co-host. And her name is Michelle, like always. Hi, fam. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, Isaac. How are you?
I'm all right. How's everything?
Everything's good. Everything's same old. And we're on a
Awesome.
Tuesday today, so it's the same old, definitely.
Yeah, same energy, same vibe. It's a pleasure having you as well all the time. And today is like they call it the penultimate episode. This is the episode before the last episode. And
Yes.
it's been an exciting season one. And I am looking forward to closing season one, but I'm quite sad at the same time, because I've met different people, I've met knowledgeable people, I met people I never knew before, and they're just incredible people out there just doing great things in the line of aviation.
I
And today is
agree.
yeah.
I agree on that because we had such amazing people on our show. And personally, I enjoyed we've met people of all age and range, and we've met like people starting in aviation industry and being very experienced in the aviation industry, and we've actually seen as much career related people. Like we have pilots, we had cabin crew, professors, academic people, ground services people, and it has been awesome. And exactly, I'm feeling very happy that it was a good season, but of course a little bit sad that it's ending so soon.
Yeah, awesome. Do you want viewers what Fly Wings Aviation is all about before we kickstart our episode again? For those people
Yes.
who are new to this channel. And if you're new, please kindly subscribe, like, share with your friends. All about aviation. Over to you, Michelle.
Yes. So, first of all, Flight Wings Aviation is an aviation educational consultant company It's a consultancy company. If you're not following us, you can know about us on our website, on our social media. We're actually also on LinkedIn professionally with our website and everything. Flight Wings Aviation provides uh, a guideline or a pathway to people who don't know or don't know how to decide what they want to do. Our main target is like people from undergraduate or high school students who are not sure what career in aviation they want to choose. So they might know about aviation, but not exactly what they want to study. Like, do they want to become pilot or cabin crew, an aviation management personnel, or a ground services or aircraft maintenance, but they're not sure. And Flight Wings Aviation not only tells people who already know about aviation, but we help people who just don't have any idea about aviation. We have our junior aviation certificate, that is like the introductory certificate which tells everything about aviation you need to know as the fundamental information a person can get. And now, apparently, if you are following us from before and if you are still following our website, we now are also providing advanced courses. So it's not for people only who want to study aviation at an introductory level, but it's also for people who already have a good idea about aviation but want to increase their academic knowledge. So you can always go, and we have very good mentors as well, who are always there to advise you and guide you through either your educational path or career options. So that's like a general and brief idea about Flight Wings Aviation.
Exactly. Thank you for enlightening everyone. I believe today we have new individuals who are joining us for the first time. So it's always cool and it's always nice to welcome guests. And this very point, I want to send a shout out to Norma Gugu. She was part of the guests, I think, 2 weeks back. She
Yes.
was incredible on the show. I just want to say I want to say thank you for so much love, and it's always great, you know. So today we have something interesting, and I think we started it from last week. You know, we had Professor Sanis,
Yes.
and today as well we have another professor, and I believe with another one, or maybe everything is lighting up a little bit of academic. We have more knowledge, not like we didn't have more knowledge, but we have more
Yes.
on the specifics and the academic side of everything. So without wasting much time, I am going to introduce our guest, and he's Professor Cengiz. I
Yes,
hope I
Cengiz.
yes, I hope I said his
Yes.
name correctly. And yes, drum roll, and there we go. Hello, Professor. Good evening over there.
Good evening, Isaac. How are you today?
I am all right,
We
Professor. I'm
we're
great.
good. How are you, Professor?
I'm doing well. It's been a busy day, but I'm really very energetic. As soon as I heard your desire to increase a lot of things, especially in the minds of the juniors for aviation, I have been a lot more comfortable, and everything matches with my ideas. That sounds wonderful. Thank you very much for welcoming me in this lovely environment. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to meet with a lot of people from different parts of the world who are interested in aviation, at least a bit. Doesn't matter how much it is, but it's really a very good experience for me as well. And your lovely, nice faces, your smiles are giving a lot energy. And really, Michelle, I heard and one by one, word by word, whatever you have said. Thank you very much, making me feel so much confident about the future of aviation. Thank you very much, Isaac, for making such skillful things like this live program here.
All
Uh,
right. Thank you so much. Thank
I
you so much,
just want
Professor.
to say one thing. People who don't know this, Professor Cengiz was my first professor when I came when I went for university in Cyprus, and he has been my mentor. Even though he left Cyprus after first year, and I couldn't meet him in person after that, but he has been my mentor for the last 4 or 5 years,
thank
and I was so excited when I reached out to him, and he was so supportive, and I was so emotional because you did not even take a second to support us when we told you that we were like your students and everything. So thank you so much, sir. I know you are so busy, but thank you for taking the time out for us and just showing the support that, we always have your support. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me, and you are one of my unforgettable students. I would like to make some gossip with Isaac now. Isaac, Michelle was very, how can I say, whatever she
It's very
does, she
bright.
was very
Yeah.
impressive. I said to my students that we need a good aviation club in the University of Kairania in that year. It was, I think, year 2017.
Yes.
And they have voted for a leader. Guess who was the leader? Who was elected?
Michelle.
Michelle. But what did she say? She said, "I'm not ready yet. I would rather you elect this guy," and that guy was elected as well. It was a
Oh,
shocking news. It's an
interesting.
unbelievable thing, and I tell this story everywhere. Uh, of course, it's a success that you are elected, but it's another thing, a very big
Electing someone
question
else.
mark. And there is nothing comparable with this. So it's a very lovely story. I tell wherever I go, and I also give some lectures about leadership in different courses in different universities. I give this as an example, Michelle. We
Thank you,
say
Professor.
your ears are ringing in this Turkish saying, kind of proverb. Your ears should be ringing when I'm talking about you when you're absent there.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you.
Awesome. So today, me and your brilliant student, we're going to have an interesting discussion today. So, diving in today's discussion, obviously, I would like you to greet the viewers a little bit and tell us about yourself a little bit and your current position, so that people can know who you are and where you're from, and so as we move on in the discussion.
Currently, I'm lecturing and chairing the pilotage department in Bahçeşehir University. It's a famous international university in the middle of Bosphorus, the Istanbul Strait. And we have a wonderful view here in Istanbul. And I would like to invite you personally to our offices, to our classrooms, whenever you are available. It's going to be a wonderful experience as well. Uh, I'm lecturing in there. And this is my ninth university, which I have been lecturing for. I moved from one university to another because I wanted to increase my career on one hand and to learn more and more about different environments and to meet with many different aviators in different universities as well. This has been very teachy, but in the end, when I look back, I say I'm a little tired of moving that much. Even moving your house inside one city is a lot of suffer, and that is the main reason for me to stay in Bahçeşehir University for a long time. It has been the third year. For two times we have selected or welcomed different students from different countries in this pilotage program. It's the leading program. We decided to start with pilotage because it motivates the other branches of aviation. It's a little more charming, and for the university, it's more prestige to have a pilotage department. That has been the reason for us to start with pilotage. But of course, we are going to continue with other departments and the programs as well. Sooner or later, aviation will cover all the university, or at least our faculty will increase to a degree, something like that. About myself, I am an aviator of 31 years of experience. I have been a military aviator for long years in Turkey. I have started with pilot training, and I have an experience of 160 hours of flight. Thereafter, I moved to air defense controller side, and I have been doing that job in different environments, but very critical crisis management centers and very critical operations centers, both military, national military, and NATO military, which is an alliance for the whole Europe and the North Atlantic Pact. Of course, I have had a lot of experiences in different international environments about how to run these operations on military side. But simultaneously, I was wondering more about the civilian side of aviation as well. That has been my motivation behind to continue with a simultaneous academic education. And it has started on year 2007 and lasted in 2015 to have two master's degree educations together with a PhD. My thesis is all about aviation, of course, and my branch is aviation management. My real branch is this, and thesis is about just culture, which is a subculture of safety culture. Safety culture is a subculture of organizational culture, and
Right.
that is a subculture of national culture. So all are reacting to each other, and they have meanings, they have interactions, and they have differences between, of course, nations and personalities. That is why we have a variety of area branches or topics to work on, to study on. But aviation itself is an international job. We cannot categorize people. We all are aviators. Whatever our color of our skin is, whatever our religious belief is, whatever any person who has taken any of my courses knows, even if it's only one nation, it doesn't matter. I tell this to all my students or all attendees of those courses. I feel myself equal to everyone. I don't feel superior or subordinate to anybody. Inside of myself, I'm socialist, but I'm not that much socialist actually, because it requires a lot more information and a lot more effort. But at least I don't feel myself superior to anyone, neither the opposite. And I try to keep the distance with whoever I'm talking, especially when I'm inside the classroom. And this has been a lifestyle for me. I condemn racism, I condemn segregation, discrimination, all of those. So we are aviators. We are only one huge big family all around the world, and we will try to do our best because it requires a teamwork. Whatever, wherever you are from, whatever you are doing, you could be a pilot, or you could be an air traffic controller, or you could be a marshalling person. We're not saying man anymore,
Yes.
gender
Because
equity.
of gender equality.
So we don't say marshalling people. Whatever you're doing, you are a part of a team, and this makes us feel more relaxed actually on one side, and the other side is a risky job. It feels always a kind of warning. We feel a kind of warning whatever you are, whatever we are doing, and whatever we are doing. About
Right.
myself, the shortest way of telling 31 years of this aviation story of myself is I have met with almost I have met with aviators from almost all the nations, and I felt something. We require teamwork. We require good communication, and that's the heart of everything.
Yes, I agree, Professor. And I always remember your values, your way of teaching. I always remember that you never just taught about aviation. You were always like it's one whole big family. And I remember your courses, but I remember your teaching about life and everything as well. That's why I say you
Thank
are my mentor, because I remember when I came to university, you never, because I remember in Cyprus everybody is from different countries. We're not from one country or one specific religion. And you always wanted all of us to be together at one place because we were aviators, we were aviation people. So you wanted everyone to interact with everyone in the class. And I remember you used to do all
Exactly.
these exercises and activities so everybody could, talk and discuss and all that. So thank
Yeah.
you for that. Thank you for being such an amazing professor to us. So
Thank
you've
you.
already told us about like your educational background and everything. So my next question would be that we have a lot of students that come to Flight Wings Aviation and they want to choose a career, or like they want to start their studies in aviation. So they don't know how to, like, what kind of courses that they should take in high school and stuff like that. And they don't know the importance of aviation. So according to you, how should one apply for an aviation degree in any field? And why is aviation, what is the importance of aviation?
Of course, if we are talking about the careers of young people, we should very clearly say that we are ready to welcome you to this aviation world. It's a lovely job. It's a
Yes.
lovely job. It's something good, really good, and it makes you feel happy almost all the time. Believe me, because I have been in different environments. She knows very well that I have been the dramatist. I have been I have done a lot of jobs. I have met with a lot of people from different places and different branches, different types of people. Doesn't matter. Aviators are better people. I'm not exaggerating. Aviators are really have problems with themselves because whatever you're doing, you have to add something to yourself, and
Yes.
you should have good values. Those values will increase you to somewhere else. If not, it's almost impossible in aviation to stay in the same place because it's a flowing
Yes.
environment. You don't have a basis. It's always something like you're in the atmosphere and it's windy. What you should do is add your something to yourself. Whatever the selection for the beginning, it doesn't matter. You will start to become an aviator. You will learn some similarities, and then you can draw your line on your own. If compared with a couple of years ago, I have to admit that the salaries are not as good as they were before. But there is, of course, a very clear difference between the salaries, incomes, if you are selecting a job in the aviation, because the fences of those airports are the borders of our lovely and rich world.
True.
we are
Yes.
paid more than other people. And
That's
of course,
a secret that only aviators know. That
yeah,
we
yeah, it's
only
a
know
secret
about it.
between us. I remembered that. Okay, so you will erase this later on.
We will edit this.
Too late, too late. It's out in the world.
I was like, you have very strict rules.
um, but then also like I'm understanding like when you talk about when people are choosing careers, it's always a difficult task, and one thing I've learned is times change as well. Like how COVID has changed everything. So you could have made that decision that back in that time, but now it's a different thing. But then my question or my line of movement right now is since you're a professor right now, you spoke about how you moved in various universities as a person of academia. What did you enjoy before you were an academia person, like in the line of aviation? What did you enjoy before? And then what do you enjoy now as an academia as compared to before?
Let me first answer what was before. I'm a retired colonel, aviation colonel. I was an expert in air defense, and I have been an expert in tactical data links, which enables different platforms of Navy, aviators, and land forces to communicate to each other and to give a lot of encrypted information in microseconds level with crypto. But this technical job, aviation on military side is really very technical. This technical job has taught me that the sky is for benefits of not the states only, but the whole universal worldwide community. For instance, there has been some earthquakes, and we have planned a lot of aircraft to go there for humanitarian aids. There has been an earthquake. Maybe you remember it was in some different parts of the world. You can remember a lot of examples for this. Or I have been in Afghanistan. It was year 2008 and 2009. That was Hajj organization, which is very important for Muslims in all around the world. And it was, again, very important for Afghanistan, the people in Afghanistan. And we have sent 30,000 Hajis who are going to pray in the middle of Mecca for Islamic belief and Islamic performance, whatever. I couldn't find the correct word. But those 30,000 people, it's not easy to send people who are, for instance, living up in the mountains and some with a level of civilization of nomads. They are starting to their journey on foot, and it is moved. They are moved to some buses and then to aviation starting points in 4 different big airports. So those clear rememberings, those clear memories in my mind tells me that the aviation should work a lot more for the benefits of the people in this world. I mean, the world is changing very dramatically, and Industry 4.0 has arrived. We have new terminology, and artificial intelligence will be in the heart of almost everything. We will use big data for everything. We will have some tools, including air vehicles, communicating independently with each other. So we should get ready for that. If you are on the military side, you have no clue idea about, maybe about the technical side, but about how these aviation rules are running, how these people of aviation in so many different parts are communicating with each other. So I wonder about a lot of things, how aviation safety is achieved, how aviation security is achieved, how air traffic management is achieved, how many people are working for one aircraft to fly once, well, how many as maintenance technicians. So how many people are on board or touching at the fuselage of this one unique aircraft before it starts its flight. So as you know, it's more than 200 people. And you know that the turnaround timing means a lot of simultaneous planning with different teams from different nations, from different organizations, different companies. And what motivates to all the people is the money, of course, because we get a lot of benefits from aviation. If we think about how huge it's the economy of aviation, it is the 11th biggest economy in the world. If it was a state. And besides, in the near future, I mean, within less than a couple of years, almost the number of passengers in 1 year will be equal to number of the population in this world. So almost everyone will fly. You cannot answer those when you are in military aviation. You will answer those questions if you are in civil aviation, and we have a lot of things to wonder about. Academic thinking enables us or drives us to think in a way where you wonder about it. You wonder about something in a realistic way, and you need to have a methodology, a confident methodology, to answer the questions arise. So academic side is this. Academic side gives you a solid, substantial idea about what really is going on in this aviation world. So that made me feel motivated to move from somewhere to another. I didn't move from one university to another. I have moved also from one study topic to another. I have started studying aviation safety, and then I moved to aviation security, and then I moved to CRM, crew resource management, and then now I'm also dealing with just culture issue, which is the next generation safety considerations. So we are dealing with a lot of things. And leadership in under crisis circumstances. Those have been topics I have been working and trying to write some things about as an academician. Of course, simultaneously, we have also published some books about aviation economics, aviation management. So as you walk in this environment, you feel yourself more confident about the realities you know well about. But unfortunately, Isaac, when you learn more, you feel that you're smaller than before. You feel a lot smaller than before because as you understand the environment around you, you feel yourself less complicated than before. There are a lot of topics to learn, and only it's academic life which gives you in hand how to think about this, how to learn about this. Of course, as you do now today here in this program, you need some people, teammates, to do something in a good way together. Because you are expert in one branch, she or he is another expert in other branch, and if you are together, it's a clap. It's not only one hand or a single hand which has no sound, but if we are together, it's a clap and it gives a nice sound, a tempo maybe, and you create, you produce something which could be, hopefully, could be beneficial for the lives of people. And if you are an academician, you lecture in the classrooms and you touch at the lives of very nice, very good students. I have a lot of things to add to those, but I think I should cut it shorter than I did so far.
You actually did answer my question because I was going to ask why you stayed at academic side of the aviation, but as you said, I just heard that you said that you learn more.
Yeah, you learn.
If you would have, because you keep learning, because as you said, aviation is a constantly growing industry and changing. And like, for example, we're talking about artificial intelligence and everything. And that means that our knowledge never stops. It keeps changing. Now, for example, the pandemic came, we never thought, but now still after the pandemic, the aviation industry is still moving, but in an innovative way. So that's true. I agree on that. So I want to ask, what factors do you think an aviation person should have? What are the main, like, you think you feel like these are the characteristics an aviation person should have? Like, should they be innovative or acceptance to the changes that the aviation industry brings? Because as we're talking that it keeps changing, so people, like, for example, you have so much experience. I'm sure that when you started aviation 30 years ago, it was completely different to what it is right now. So what characteristics, according to you, does an aviation person need to have?
It's really a very nice question. You probably remember from my previous classes, but it has been also famous in other universities where I met with the different students as well. I have created a kind of metaphor. It's blue pen. We use blue pen in my classrooms. I mean, whenever I give a homework, I request my students to use this blue pen because an aviator has to be, first thing, I think, decisive. Whatever your job is in aviation, you have only one time, one decision.
Right.
For instance, if you're a pilot, you should Go or no go during takeoff, land or pass during landing. Or if you are a marshalling person, you should choose left or right. Is it correct? Because something like a mirror when
Yes.
I look at myself.
Yes.
Left or right, it's only one decision. If it is mistaken, it's over. Maybe hopefully not, but maybe the result is a disaster. So we are trying to prevent from those accidents. We are trying to prevent from the consequences of possible human errors. To err is human. We understand this. But we are trying to prevent from these errors. We are trying to establish some defenses in different parts of the organizations or in different levels of organizations or during the interactions between people, groups, or the organizations. So those defenses should work fine in order to prevent from those consequences which possibly are negative. But in order to run this systematic in a positive way, we need aviators to be decisive. The second one is, of course, it's a long run, something like a marathon. And during this marathon, we need to have a good objective. We need to fix our tempo towards those targets on the way to the big objective. The big objective is to run this marathon within a limit which we have planned before. Those targets are arrival times in different stops on the way to the final destination. So we should have a good plan. An aviator should have a good plan about himself or herself and his or her career as well. And another characteristic should be that we should be able to overcome from different types of stresses, because stress is a huge
Yes.
topic. That stress should be short-term stress because of time or whatever the circumstances you are in, but it should be also a long-term stress. We need to learn how to overcome those stresses. It could be derived from family life. Isaac, you don't know, but I will give you a secret now. I'm not good. I'm good at a lot of things in academic life, in social life as well. I have lots of funny and nice friends all around, but I don't have good lovers. I don't know the reason, but the result is always terribly wrong and separated. Sometimes it's a long-term or sometimes a short-term relation, but the result is always separation. So I cannot preach on relations, but even if we have bad relations, our mood should be good. Even if we have a very bad problem, something we cannot abandon from, if you are inside the fences of this airport, or if you are inside the cockpit or the cabin, wherever you are doing this job, or in this ATC environment, you should forget about all those. So
Oh.
we need to be able to overcome the stress, either it is short-term or long-term stress.
It's long term. It's interesting that you put across the point that you might not be an expert in other things, but there's this concept called Kobayashi Maru. It's called lose-lose situation. Like either way, if you look at something, it's a lose. So the idea of this concept is you need to understand that sometimes you need to understand that you could not have done anything. Like it's a lose-lose situation. So you need to accept it and you move on. Like, sometimes we dwell on points where I think I could have done this, but sometimes it's going to come and it's going to be an L, which is a loss, but sometimes it ends up being a lesson. So it's a very interesting characteristic that an aviator has to have.
Can I say it again? Kobalozo, is it?
It's called Kobayashi.
Kobayashi. Okay.
Yes, Kobayashi Maru.
Kobayashi.
Lose situation.
Okay.
Yes. But anyways, let's talk about you being the head of the professional pilot training at BAU. Tell us about the program and how can one enroll in this program as well?
Uh, we have worked a lot. Just a minute, I should check something. Okay. Pilotage is something a little different than other branches of aviation because if you lose your skills or if you lose your health, whatever the reason is, in any period of the time of your journey, you will lose everything. In order to get ready for any bad circumstance or any bad condition you may face, we need to have a guarantee, a lifelong guarantee. That's what I have been seeking for. That's what I have been concentrated on for a long 2 years, and I realized a lot of things. I mean, I think first of all I should say that I have also worked in flight schools as well. I have worked in 2 different flight schools, and I have lectured in 5 different flight schools, and I'm a consultant for a very good started, a very big flight school in Turkey. Its name is Istanbul Havacılık. And I have worked in Atlantic Flight Academy, AFA, again in Turkey for 1 year. What I understood is we have 2 choices to become a pilot. Our young audiences should note this part of the conversation. 2 ways. One way is to take your major, your license degree in any branch you want, and then go for a flight training school and then become a pilot. This is the first way. And the second way is you go to a program, a pilotage program in one of the universities. But the second way, which I'm in favor of, has 3 big benefits. The first one is you earn 2 years as a pilot. And maybe you don't know the realities, but I'm 48 years old. There is no big difference between the 46 years old or 48 years old or 50 years old man. But there is a very big difference between between having the age of 22 or 24. You felt this recently.
Yes. Yes.
It's a lot different. To be a person at the age of 22 is different than to be a person at the age of 20. And it's really very longer time. I mean, your character is changing. Your lifestyle is changing. Many things are changing at the ages between 20 and 30. That is why these years we have been discussing now are very important years. Thus, we need to add some value here. The critical way, the critical solution could be having a diploma together with a license, an ATPA frozen license. So these pilotage programs are beneficial, first of all, for getting a benefit of 2 years. Secondly, it is cheaper. It is really
Yes.
a lot cheaper, because when I go to the flight schools, it's a kind of bargaining between the university and the flight school, and of course we are on the winner's side, and it's the benefit of the students. It's cheaper. The third one we have generated recently is the second, the double major opportunity. As we have started in a good point, our program has increased the value inside the university as well. This enabled our students to take another benefit from different branches of engineering faculty. So double major in any of the engineering faculties has been enabled. This year, we will do another favor for pilotage students, and we are leading. Maybe you have noticed that wherever I'm going, I'm leading these type of issues. So many people are following us, and then they are doing the same as well. So this year, we will start exchange programs for pilotage students in Bahçeşehir University. This will enable my pilotage students to fly their aircraft in another country, even when they are students only. And I'm very, very sure about the fact that it will give a lot confidence to themselves. They will feel a lot more comfortable when they are back. And they will feel more relaxed when they take the control of the aircraft, even under bad circumstances like emergency cases. Besides, I should also note the benefit of making comparisons between the teaching methodology for pilot training or any type of operational differences inside that portion of the airspace. So this is going to be very teachy, and hopefully we will achieve this year or next year, and this will lead another point, another discussion all around the world. Because maybe Michelle remembers that I have also another favorite student. Her name is Tatenda. If she is following us, I will be very much pleased. I don't know if she's online or not.
Yes.
Tatenda,
She's a part of Flight Wings Aviation as well.
oh, it's very nice to hear that.
Yes.
She was from Zimbabwe, and she was educating in Cyprus, and she has taken the internship in Turkey. So 3 countries were involved in this journey, and it has been an ignition. Michelle remembers that, and it has been an ignition, and we have continued with 10 more students, and those in many different aviation schools or aviation companies, they took those internships, and it has been really very beneficial. So Cyprus, was very limited with the opportunities to give to the students, but we took the benefits from different companies in Turkey as well. So we are going to lead this type of issues. They will enable the students have more a wider look and more experiences to collect from different parts of the world. Since I go back to the first discussion, since aviation is itself naturally is an international job.
Yes. So you mentioned that you're also like a current strategic aviation consultant, right, at Istanbul Havacılık.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little about that? Like, what's your role, and what do you do as a strategic aviation consultant?
I give to my company the strategic analysis of the market, of course, not only the local market, but also the international market.
Right.
And I make an analysis of many reports by ICAO, IATA, and the civil aviation authorities. Besides, of course, I give them some advices for movements towards the opportunities or the threats. And of course, the employment is utmost important. I give also some notes about the employment rates in different branches. So they are well aware of what type of market they are in, and they are well aware of what kind of strategy to follow. Of course, I'm not drawing the strategy for my company, but I'm a consultant, and I give a lot of clues, a lot of information, and they make their decisions on their own. Currently, they have a very good fleet. They have very good instructors. They have taken the licenses for almost all types of pilotage trainings. Maybe you noticed that there are a lot of pilotage trainings. PPL is one of them, ATPL or CPL is another, but there are also IR. It's a rating, like night rating, instrument rating is another. And there are also some pilots for training only in simulators. Or if you have a combination of an airline company and a flight school, you have also some different choices in different phases of these trainings combined for taking the experiences of airline pilots with a lot of thousands of hours of flight experience. So we are combining them together as well. But mainly, the main strategy is to be international. That is why we have been meeting with different universities in Poland, in Ukraine, and we will continue with Hungary. Hopefully, we will also establish an international environment for Istanbul Havacılık as well. And probably we will be seeking for some international students from different countries of Africa or Middle East as well, or Turkish republics in the middle of Asia. Because this will combine the benefits of EASA region training quality together with the opportunities we offer to the students here in Turkey, and to those potential students in different countries who has no choice to have that type of efficient and valuable training back in their countries. So it's a kind of network combination for the benefits of pilotage candidates. And we have our own runway. We paid a lot of money for that one, but our boss is very, very, very rich person. It doesn't matter for him because the runway is also important, and it's solely the Istanbul Aviation property. It's very nice because, especially in the beginning phases of pilotage trainings, you need to take off and land a lot of times, and
Yes.
it's only possible if that short airfield is yours, and it's ours, and it's really very beneficial as well.
Wow, this is incredible. This is incredible. Um, I was looking at our time, and I'm enjoying this conversation. It's sad that we're about to wrap up the show, but then before Michael closes the show, I would like to have these. I will just combine my question. I think it's similar, like in its line. We're looking at COVID, like I mentioned. COVID hit us like no one expected it, and so many people are probably doubting if they should become pilots and so forth because so many people lost their jobs in the aviation industry. So looking at that, what kind of advice will you have in terms of people who are thinking about keeping on being in the aviation field? First of all, who are thinking about doing it, and the people who are actually doing it, and also the importance of crisis and risk management post COVID that we are approaching. Like, yes.
Yeah, it's really nice question as well. It's a wide topic, especially, but shortly saying, aviation industry is a cyclical industry. It means every 10 or 15 years we have a crisis. But the tendency in long term indicates always an increase in the number of passengers. Now, the increase in the number of passengers results with increase in number of airports. Increase in number of airports results with increase in number of aircraft to carry those people, and it results with more production. It results with more economical value. So people will we got used to use airplanes to get everywhere, all around the world. We will not give up from this moment.
Of course.
We will not retrieve. We will not withdraw from this benefit. This is something very good. We will go. We will use this aircraft. And if we look at the patterns for Airbus and patterns for production plannings for Airbus and Boeing, you see that one of them is until year 2031. The other one is until the year 2036. They will continue to produce the same number of aircraft. In short term, of course, we experienced this crisis. We have we have produced a thesis, a master's thesis about COVID-19 crisis, and we have criticized all these statistical issues and the inclines and declines for numbers of passengers. As you have understood, it's very related with economical side. So we are in the recovery phase now, and it will not take more than 6 months if we don't have a delta as a big problem as well. But
Yes.
sooner or later, aviation will win this type of games. We find some new business models. We find some new shortcuts, but we will continue to carry those people and those loads from one end of the world to another. Besides, another critical issue is the North Pole issue. North Pole has melted, and we will have some more air bases in there. This will enable us to have some shorter routes from one end to other end because it's spherical. In the past, we were unable to use because we didn't have emergency case landing airports. Now we have them. So North Pole will change the equation once more again. I'm very confident that aviation will recover very soon, and we will continue with the same number of tendencies in the number of passengers, potential passengers. But your question was not limited with this COVID effect in as a crisis, but it was also about how people are changing. We have another international project continuing now. We are talking with a lot of different types of pilots in different types of organizations with different periods of uh, experience in as a pilot in different airline companies or aviation companies. What we learned from them so far, from the real world, is those who has a good plan as an aviator. We mentioned this before in this conversation.
Yes.
Those who has a good plan has recovered very quickly. Those who had very good plans had not been affected any. Even if they left, some of them have resigned. Now, many of those who have resigned are again in another company, but they are continuing to fly. So let's go back to the beginning. Whoever you are, if you are an aviator, you will have a good plan for your life. The same applies, especially for the pilots, because you waste a lot of money to you make an investment for your training yourself, but you earn a lot. The payback is not so. The payback is very quick and is not is very valuable to you. So it's a kind of return of investment actually, and it will not take more than 3 years. And pandemic is only one of the crises, the big 8 crises which we experienced so far. It has been the biggest one, but we again will learn a lot. The industry has learned. The procedures side, industry has learned on law side. Industry has learned in the design and production side and operation side and the lifestyle, whatever the topic is in aviation. We learn. Aviators are different because we learn. We make the biggest mistakes, but we learn. So COVID has also been a very big experience. There are a lot of researches, scientific researches all around. There are a lot of statistics by many different civil aviation authorities. So we will take benefits from all those, and we will learn a lot of things, and we will be more stronger for the future possible crisis again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's your
Yes.
Michelle, as we close, any last question, last words?
I just want to remind the professor, when I remember in one of your courses, business and economics in aviation, I think you remember I was in your lecture. You had actually mentioned us that, you guys are graduating at a very bad time. When you're going to
I thought.
graduate, it's going to be a very bad time because the industry is going to downfall. And I was a new student and I was like, but it's okay right now. The aviation industry is growing, everything's good. And then in my final year when this happened, I was like, oh my god, I remember Professor Cengiz telling me this, that we were graduating at a very bad time. And that's the I remember because it was my first, I think, course with you. I think it was my second semester, and you were telling us that every time the aviation industry in 10-15 year goes down and then it goes up, but then it declines a lot. And I was a new student, I was like, nothing's gonna happen, it's aviation. Nothing happens to aviation. But when it did happen, I remembered one of your courses, and I was like, oh my god, when I meet the professor, I would tell him that, yes, what you taught me, you were right about this. So a lot of the things I still remember from your first year, and those things do happen and everything. And like you said, one of the characteristics, now I think I understand, that you said that an aviation person in their life, they're always planning because it's in their nature. And now I think I feel like you're right, because even if I think about myself, I'm always planning about my life, even though
Yeah,
it might not
and it will
happen. but
never end.
but but I need a plan all the time, that okay, if this doesn't happen, then I have to do this. You're right, I totally agree on that, that an aviation person, I think all of us who are aviators, we have very similar characteristics that we are following. And I think planning is one thing.
Really.
So I agree on that. Thank you. So my last question before we go would be, what advice would you want to give our young viewers, like, who might be a bit uncertain about this industry? Like they might be uncertain, like, should they join the aviation industry right now, as the pandemic has hit it and all that? So what would your last words would be, like, before you go? Like, what would you advise them?
Remembering what I told you during your lectures, I should also, they will remember, hopefully, that what I tell them now. This is the best time to make an investment for themselves or any investment in aviation. So it's the correct time to enroll.
Right.
So, the worst time for investment and the best time for operations when they graduate. The things will be a lot more smooth and easy for them, but they should always remember that they should have a good plan. In those comfortable days, they should make their own investments and they should put aside some money, or they should whatever do a guarantee, a kind of guarantee for their future. Uh, Please remember also, I have digged a tree in the garden of
Yes.
University of Cairo. Yeah,
Yes.
uh, you remember that blue pen has been a symbol, a metaphor for having one decision, and that tree, I kindly try to remind all my students that one, those who has taken my courses in Kairania, that tree, I think that was Felix who has taken the responsibility and handed over to someone else, and that tree is a long-term thinking. Okay, it's the metaphor of long-term thinking, and I
Yes.
request all aviators, like you, all those young aviators, to have a big plan. That big plan will save you under bad circumstances, will give you under good circumstances, and I hope you will achieve a lot of things, a lot of success. I wish you the best, because you worth you deserve to have a good success. You are very valuable students, believe me. I remember the times I have been lecturing you, and I remember the questions arising in the classrooms. I like the way your generation thinks. I like the way your generation, which is reflected to the questions wherever we are having these conversations, like the questions you have asked me tonight. Thank you very much. It has been really beneficial for me to also to wrap up whatever I have had in my mind, and it has been a good condensed form of the expression of my feelings as well as my experiences. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity once more again, and thank you very much for having so smiley faces, having that sharp characters. I want you, ladies and guys, please keep staying in my life, keep in touch with me. I will try to do my best. I will continue to try to do my best. I promise, and I try to keep my promises. I have a lot of witnesses all around the world. Please keep in touch with me. I will be with you if I am able to. Okay. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much, Professor. It personally, of course, Isaac is meeting you for the first time, but personally, I am very emotional because hearing from you and listening to you speaking about aviation after 4 years, I feel like I forget that, I feel like I'm in that classroom again, and I'm just sitting there and just learning aviation from you. I think, really, Professor, from my heart, I want to say, because of you, I really did enjoy aviation.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And
And
say my best wishes to your family as well. I remember
yes,
the conversations with them.
yes, and
We
because
went for drinking.
you were the one who made me realize that aviation management is so much more than just the technical or theory stuff, and I will always carry that with me for life. And yes, and I will definitely always stay in touch with you.
Thank
This
you.
is
Thank you
one
very much.
student who will never stop. Like, maybe after a couple of months I will always send you a message that, hello, professor,
Please
how are
keep on.
you, and everything. So thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
again for being
Thank
with
you.
us today and sharing all the information that you shared with me, with us, and the young people who are watching us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor. I have met you for the first time, but I feel like I've known you for a while, just this 1 hour. Thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you so much for your knowledge. And I also
Thank
want to
you.
thank our viewers for tuning in. Thank you so much. Please do feel free to follow us on our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And of course, courtesy of Professor and so many people that we interview here, if you want any knowledge, or if you want to contact them, you can contact us and we can make that happen as well. So Flight Wings Aviation is for all of you guys, so that we can equip, inspire, and empower the next future that is bright and it is amazing and awesome aviators. So from the team, Fly Wings Aviation, from me and Michelle and our guest professor, thank you so much and goodbye, everyone.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye.
Thank you very much.